So calling the City Council meeting of December 5, 2022 to order for our closed session. And we take roll call here?
Yes.
Yes, please take roll call.
Mayor Plummer?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagerstrom?
Here.
Councilmember Cruz?
Here.
Councilmember Hawkins?
Here.
Councilmember Merrill?
Here.
So thank you very much. Nice to have everyone present. So I would like to give the audience and public a chance to make public comment on the item before us for closed session, which is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment and adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Shall we retire downstairs to the smoking room? Good evening. I'd like to call the City Council regular meeting for Monday, December 5, 2022 at 5:01 to open it, and reporting out of closed session. Direction was given to staff. Do we take roll call again? Okay, we after the flag. Okay. Matt, could you lead us in the pledge? Cool. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess I didn't close the closed session, so I'm going to close that and ask for roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagerstrom?
Here.
Councilmember Cruz?
Here.
Councilmember Hawkins?
Here.
Councilmember Merrill?
Here.
Thank you very much. And at this time, we would like to welcome the public to make public comment. No, I'm looking at the wrong page. Approval of the agenda. And first, the city's report on agenda posting. So I'm sorry, I was looking at the prior page, which was closed session, so I am out of line, but we will welcome you in just a few moments. So, and expect me to turn red and not you. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So, city clerk's report on the agenda posting.
At 1:43 p.m. on the 5th day of December 2022, the agenda for today's City of Sonora Council meeting was posted in the window of City Hall for public view.
Thank you. And approval of the agenda. Council.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Not seeing any, it passes unanimously. Thank you. So, we are blessed with a presentation from our Tuolumne County 1st District Supervisor, David Goldenberg. Thank you very much.
So, always my pleasure to become a part of your meetings. First of all, I just wanted to extend thanks, and we had a good time at the lighting ceremony. Mark, thank you very much.
Well,
that was really cool.
And thank you also to Ms. Dunn here.
Absolutely. No, it wouldn't have come off without you, Kitty.
It wouldn't have existed without Katie Dunn.
Yeah.
Who managed it.
And what a good turnout. I tried to do a quick count. I came up with about 150 people just going boom, 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 trying to grab people. I don't know, did you get a more accurate count, Kitty? Yeah. So, but people were really enthused. They were happy. They were glad to be there. A little bit of difficulty on positioning them so they could see when we were lighting up the church, but we got there. So it worked really well.
Favored with perfect weather.
Perfect weather indeed. Yeah. And I'm sorry I missed the parade. I was out of town. My wife's father is 95 years old. He's an Alzheimer's patient, and we wanted to, go visit him, so we couldn't make it back in time. So, anyways, just in general, a few things from the county perspective. Fire Safety Advisory Committee. I'm chair of that committee. I'm very enthusiastic with it, based on my own background with CAL FIRE, of course. The second reading of the ordinance, that we're having for vegetation management is going to be during our board meeting tomorrow. And it's on the consent calendar, and hopefully it'll go through. There was concern amongst many people, but we tried to work with all the parties and come to an agreement. Like I've said before, you're never going to make everybody happy, so you do the best you can. Couple other things that are going on. Fire Safe Council, they're doing tremendous work. They're working on the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, CWPP, and that's going to be an area that the city is going to become involved in. And I apologize, Melissa, for not giving you a heads up on this, but we're going to form a steering committee. And this was just based on a meeting we had last week, that the steering committee will probably be formed in early January so that we make sure that the city's concerns are addressed. And so that's coming up. Amendment to contract, with CAL FIRE. That's also an issue that's coming up. As many people are aware, we don't have near enough fire protection, solid fire protection in the county. So we were able to achieve some grant funds through FEMA. One of them was called the SAFER grant, staffing for adequate fire emergency response. We got $9 million to do that over a 3-year period. So we were looking at dedicating those funds to Groveland, to Mono Village, Station 51, and Mona Vista, which has never had a paid station, before. So we're trying to get that one going because they've had roughly 1,700 calls a year, and they have very few volunteers. In fact, there's one guy, Doug Young, that has been there for like 30 years. We recognized him at a recent board meeting. So we need to provide this service, to the public. Columbia, that's another issue, and we had some other funding, that came from the federal government. A lot of those funds were kind of headed towards just roads, but I pushed really hard for getting Columbia funding, and so they did. We as a board agreed to $1.3 million to establish a fire station in Columbia. And that's been a distinctive whole. When you say your first paid station, right, is going to be either Jamestown or the city of Sonora. Thank you, Amy. When you look at that, that creates a big problem, because everything is about response times. So we're working on that one. These are all temporary funds, right? They're grants, they're one-time funds from the federal government. And so what we are as a county trying to achieve is sustainable funding to support these efforts, particularly in fire protection. Not to say that we're not working on the law enforcement aspect, because we are. We're actively, looking at that under their contracts. That's a bargaining issue, so I can't, really go there. How do we fund those? It's a big question mark, right? And so part of and tomorrow's board meeting is going to be a discussion with Visit Tuolumne County and TOT funding and how we're going to use that funding or not. And I'll just speak at a really high level because this is going to be an agenda item tomorrow. Some concerns, from Visit Tuolumne County were, can we do what they call a sole source, contract with them? And I think we're there, that we're able to do that. So we want to keep that moving forward. And I'll just leave it at, we're going to have discussions tomorrow. Couple other items, Commission on Homelessness. Oh my gosh, it's still a problem, right? There's no secrets here, right? So we're working on that. Michael Roberson, our staff member, is, I feel, doing an excellent job in that he's working on that. He's working with faith-based, he's working with nonprofits across the board. We're looking at different possible opportunities. Do we get more homelessness houses? Do we do safe parking? The whole thing in Jamestown is still totally up in the air. So nothing is happening there right now. City of Sonora obviously has a seat. Andy is, on the, committee and commission, I'm sorry. And so we welcome, the city's participation. City Measure Y, yay. Good job, you guys did. Really, nice showing. You got approximately 60%, give or take. You needed 50%. So that's wonderful. Our own Measure X.
It was 51% in the certified results, wasn't it?
Well, I think and it's on your agenda tonight, so I don't want to.
I think I remember. I sometimes forget things, but I believe it was.
Absolutely. So our own Measure X.
51.96, almost 52%.
Yeah. So that's an excellent showing, and it shows the support of the community, for the city. And I was really glad to see that. I know it affects your finances, as you're moving forward. Our own county Measure X ended up at a roughly 50%, but that was, we needed a 2/3 majority, to be able to carry that one forward. And I personally, and I'll just speak to it because some people are asking the question, I really pushed for that, because I wanted to see the funds absolutely dedicated 40% to the sheriff, 40% to fire, 20% to roads. So we didn't get there, but we're going to reevaluate and move forward.
When you hit 52%, I mean, it shows still a majority in favor.
It shows that there was
support,
and I appreciate that, Mark. It does show that people were supportive of it. Maybe we could have had a little more participation from some parties, and we'll leave that aside. Other than that, a couple of last items. I'm still very interested in the dome and what we can or cannot do with the dome. For people that have been in my office, I look out at the dome and I'm going, wow, what a cool building. What can we do with it? So I still want to have those discussions. And just one interesting thing about a new project that's coming up in the Columbia area, right at the entrance to Columbia College, is a housing project that's they're looking at 80 units. And so we had a meeting. Supervisor Jaron Brandon and myself met with college staff, the president, Lena Tran, and we met with the developer and looking at that project, and I think it's a good, solid project, and I'd like to see more of those throughout the county, whether they be in the county area, within the city. Anything I can do to support the housing, definitely would be part of my, yeah.
In that project, did they give you any idea what the price range was likely to end up at?
They did not, Mark. And really the fluctuation of the amount of units might change. Lena, as a college president, thought that she might be able to bring in some state funding to support that contract with the developer, to do it. And so that could, maybe they're looking for student housing, as part of it. And other than that, we just need housing.
The reason I ask is because workforce housing is something that we are all concerned with. And any way we can either be supportive or vice versa for a workforce housing component for all of us, I think is really beneficial.
No,
we need to be able to need some place where our children can afford to buy and stay.
Absolutely, and it is a necessity. When we're looking at projects like on the Groveland 120 corridor, we've approved several projects. Some fairly large developments, anywhere from 200 units down to about 100 units, or maybe a little bit less. How do you establish that? Where do you get your employees housing? Some can be on site. Sometimes they're purchasing properties, like in Groveland. So they're recognizing that, but it's not an easy solution.
Right.
So, other than that, I'd be happy to take any questions from the council.
I'm just curious, did they do any elaborating on what those units will be? I assume they're not going to be single family and more like a apartment complex or something, and just given the location.
Yeah, Andy, they were really looking at particular interest on the college part is looking at student housing. So, okay, so we can get down to 600 square foot or less and give them a decent space. But there was no pricing information. It's way too early. I mean, this is just being floated out there. It's within our community development department. So it's in the very early stages.
Thank you.
Still. Yeah.
Thank
I've got a question out here in cyberspace, if that matters. Hi.
Welcome
Dave,
to
can you hear
Entertain
me?
It. Sounds like busy. Yes.
It's busy, yes. I was just going to comment. I thought about this a lot for our area, and I know in some cases it might work, in other places it wouldn't. The city of Spokane is one place that has built a really lovely tiny house community that is right in the heart of the city, that is specifically designed for people to make it affordable for people who work in the city. And there are other communities that are creating environments. There's one in Los Angeles too. It's just a small development of tiny homes that are all, there's a lot of architectural integrity to the project, and the development is very cohesive in its design, and they're located in places that are really accessible for people to get to and from work. So, I mean, I think there are lots of models out there that we could look at. And in terms of the city of Sonora, it might be time to reevaluate some of the guidelines and ordinances that we have about housing, so that there are ways to make affordable housing available to people. I just think it's time to maybe take a look at some of the paradigms that are out there. There you go.
So good points, BZ. Understand, and when we're looking at possibilities out there, we look at what they call ADUs, accessory dwelling units. We look at other models that might be able to be something we can bring before our respective, planning, departments. And so it's, but I agree. We need to do so.
Well, and it's going to be an ongoing problem that, like I said, we want to be able to work with the county and see ourselves as partners in trying to find more housing for people we'd like to be either keeping here or moving up here. Thank you very much, Supervisor.
Absolutely.
Goldenberg.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
David.
right.
And with that, and BZ's help, I'm going to open up public comment. And
Sure.
I'm sure I've got it right this time. I'm on the right page. Sometimes.
Okay. Good evening, council and audience. My name is Susan Medeiros, and as a community citizen, I wish to express gratitude to the Sonora City Council for the use of the Sonora Opera House to conduct its twice-a-week Blue Zone activities of yoga and Tai Chi this fall. Thanks also go to Adventist Health and to the many people who have contributed to the Blue Zone success. It has been inspiring to be a part of a community that through its activities show that it prioritizes the benefits of physical and mental health and a collective social well-being in our area. So thank you.
And we thank you for your work in bringing Blue Zones to Sonora.
Evening, council and audience. My name is Shelley Stewart. I'm representing the Aronas Club, and I want to give an applaud to Blue Zone. They have been outstanding. Thank you for saying that, and they've even helped us at the Aronas Club. The Aronas Club is back. We're recovering from the pandemic some, and I just wanted to announce 4 activities that are happening. One is the handout that you all have, and it is on the Adopt a Plant landscaping program. In partnership with the Master Gardeners, we are re-landscaping the Aronas Club. It sits 1 block from Washington Street. It's very visible as you come into town, and we really want to get the beauty back into that building. We also have a Christmas tree up, and again, trying to get the feeling of Christmas back into the Aronas Club. Several other activities are on the 13th, the Jazz at 8 is coming to sing at the Aronas Club. That is a free lunch for members of the community, and it's around noontime, and you can get a bowl of soup and listen to Jazz at 8. And they're excited about coming back to the Aronas Club. This has been a long-standing event. The dance is coming back. Jim is going to be doing a dance on Sunday, December 18th at 5 o'clock. Santa will be there taking pictures of all of you, and so bring your dancing shoes. And then we also have one other event on New Year's Eve. The Contra dancers are coming back. So thank you all for your support, and I think we can make it through this pandemic and bring the Aronas Club back. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stewart. And if I could I have been at the Jazz at 8 concerts several times now, and they are wonderful. If you like Christmas music and a really good time, it is a wonderful performance. Wow, who would that be?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members and members of the public. Katie Dunn, President of the Sonora Chamber of Commerce. And by the way, Aronas is Sonora spelled backwards. Yeah. Just thought I'd tell you that. I'm just here to give you an update on Christmastown, Sonora. But before I do, I just want to express my gratitude and excitement for being able to participate in the back end of the Christmas parade. It was really fun. I got to check in all the floats, and I worked with the staff here and really got to see how it all works, how they, weave in the one float from one group to another. And it was just very fascinating to see how it all works and how much cheer it brought everyone in downtown Sonora. So I really appreciate it. It was too bad that Rochelle's not here tonight, because she's just so amazing to me. There's a lot of people that were shadowing her. I should just say that. Also, for Christmas Town Sonora, so last weekend, it rained, and so we did have to cancel our Holly Jolly Wagon and some of the other outdoor activities. I am watching the weather like a hawk, and right now it does say a little bit of rain, but things can change. We're making some adjustments. If it's not really raining, we'll probably do the Holly Jolly Wagon, because they were ready to go, and we were just like, well, gosh, there's nobody downtown, so I mean, so Santa was there. And so that was great, because, people would there was hardly anybody there. So they would just pull up right in front of Santa's house, get out and sit on his lap and get back in the car, and another car would pull up. So it kind of worked out. One bright spot was on Sunday, though, when we did the gingerbread house making at the Odd Fellows. It was really exciting. We had about 20 kids there making gingerbread houses, and we had our beloved Beezy. I hope she's still on here. Oh, there she is. She did storytelling, and she would tell a story, and then the Blue Shoes ukulele band would play, and then she'd tell a story, and then Santa walked in, and the kid, I was like choked up, because the kids were all like so excited, like, Santa, Santa. It was really, really fun. Craig and Pat Dambacker, who were there for the Odd Fellows, they were really happy about the turnout. And so I think it's going to become a very nice tradition for us. And then last thing I just want to say is, don't forget that we do have our holiday community mixer, which is Tuesday, December 13th at the Armory. This is co-hosted with Visit Tuolumne County. We will also be doing a fundraiser. We're gathering raffle items. I mentioned this at the last City Council meeting, but we are gathering raffle items because we're fundraising for Christmas Town 2023. Got to start now. So anyway, that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me. Okay, then.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Bravo.
Dunn.
You're welcome.
And with that, I'd like to turn public comment over to our internet, Zoom. Do we have any public comment? I can scarcely imagine none. Yikes. No, she was just waving, I think.
My hand's up.
Oh, your hand, that hand. It looked like a little cat paw.
You ready for me? Well, I have
Yes.
a couple of things I want to say, and I'm going to try to keep it short. On a serious note, I'm very grateful that the sales tax increase passed, and I know that a lot of heartfelt work is going into learning how to implement all of this, and I know that we have staffing shortages that really need to be addressed in the police department and in other departments. And I just want to reiterate that many, many people in the city limits voted yes because they really believed that they needed to step up to help fill the gaps and fill the holes that have been missing for all these years. And I know this is a little premature, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. In 2008, before there was the groovy stock market collapse, the council members were receiving $300 a month for their service stipend. And I think that it is really, quite honestly, a strange assumption that $100 is enough. Now, if it ever goes up, I think it should go back up to at least the equity that it was in 2008. And if people want to donate that to a charity, they're welcome to do that, but not everybody's in a position to do that. And I think that it would be very important to consider being able to not increase it, but to simply go back to where it was just not that many years ago. So that's my serious note. Then on a more friendly note, I'm so excited to hear about the Aronas Club being back. It's one of the best venues for events in the county. You just have to navigate the parking, but it's doable. And the show at the Oddfellows Hall was absolutely delightful. And thank you, Katie, for inviting me and Peggy to be there. It was such a joy. And also thank you to the city for all the support that you're giving to Sonora, to this Christmas Town event. It's very, very special. So thank you guys. That's it.
Thank you, Beezy. And I would like to add a comment to that. So one, I appreciate all your help on passing Measure Y. The next thing that we need to do for public education and outreach is to help the public to understand that it will be some 9 months or better before money starts actually flowing in. So I am going to take to the streets to try and do that, but we don't want expectations to be dashed when in fact we are working hard on implementing it and doing what we promised, but it will be some time before the money actually is in our coffers. So thank you very much. And do we have any others looking? So seeing none, I'm going to close public comment and move on to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be voted on in one motion unless a council member or member of the public has a question or wishes to discuss an item. In that case, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately. Council, any issues or questions with it? Oh, public comment. Do we have any issues with it? Seeing none, I will look for a motion.
I move to accept the.
No, you got it, man.
Oh,
You beat
okay.
me. You beat
I'll
me.
move to accept the consent calendar as presented.
I second.
All in favor? Say aye. Well,
Aye.
you've got to move quickly. These youngsters are fast. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed indicate with a nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. And we have communications. This was just the item in our, so there's nothing there. And then,
Thank you, Mayor. If I could just point out
please,
the communication from the Tuolumne County OES Department and their partnership with the Tuolumne County Transportation Commission. Just so the public is aware, there's a virtual meeting and also a meeting that will be hosted at the Sonora Opera House for the Tuolumne County Evacuation Needs Assessment. And so I would encourage residents to take a look at that meeting information. And if council is available, I would encourage you to attend the Sonora meeting on December 6th.
which is tomorrow. And
Tomorrow.
I believe it's at 5:30. Yes, 5:30.
I encourage you to attend tomorrow.
Well, I was going to bring it up in our council reports, but thank you very much. Twice won't hurt anything. And with nothing further, we'll move on to department head reports. Chief New, have you anything that you need to communicate or would like to? Oh, Administrative Services Director Gorski. Nothing tonight. Police Chief Vanderweel, I see that you're with us and I hope that you will feel better soon.
I'm here, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Ms. Kellogg is also not here then. So City Administrator Eads.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Yes, why not? Councilman Merrill,
I actually don't have any official meetings to report from, seeing as we didn't have any between our last meeting and this one. But I will say I did some timber falling yesterday, and I thought I would share it with you. I got a permit through the Forest Service. They're offering, I guess for the first time, the Christmas tree permit, so you could go up to the Stanislaus National Forest.
cool.
And
Don't giggle, that's serious work.
no, hey, I'm not trying to be cute. You know, I love Christmas just as much as anyone. So I took my partner and her family, you know, her mom and sister, that they needed help. They don't drive, so they needed someone to help them get to and from the forest. So we went up and it was really fun. You know, we got to identify some trees that clearly needed to be thinned and followed the instructions on the permit. It was only $2.50 for 2 trees.
And that's with the Forest Service?
Yes.
So you go down to the main office in Sonora?
You don't even have to do that. You could go to recreation.gov. And if you search for, I believe it's Stanislaus National Forest, there's a bunch of different permits, and one of them was the Christmas tree one. And I got to say, I really hope that they continue to do that program in the future, because it was a lot of fun. Got to go see the forest fresh after the storm this weekend, so it was a true sight to behold.
Magical.
And yeah, absolutely. I wish I would have taken some pictures to share, but had a lot of fun.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I going out and cutting one's own Christmas tree is extra special.
It's the best tree I've ever had. So,
Councilwoman Cruz.
These are our closing arguments? Or?
Yes. Yes. So,
okay.
And if you cut a Christmas tree, we'd like to hear about it.
This is really depressing. I'm sorry. One of our local city residents, Jennifer Monge, who moved away and has moved back, is very involved in the Tuolumne County Human Trafficking Awareness. She says we're currently on Facebook and we will be expanding to other social media platforms. December 10th at 5:30, we are having our first live social media event to teach the latest facts. We want to reach as many young women and men out there before they go out Christmas shopping. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. If they follow our page, we will have each meeting and events announced. We are currently forming our board and working on our 501c3. She asked me to share that.
Thank you. Is that all?
That's it.
Wow. Yes, please.
Um,
Councilman Hawkins.
you know, having 5 children, the whole human trafficking thing scares the living crap out of me. So, but on a lighter note, I want to thank the mayor. We got to walk in the parade, in the Christmas parade. And I guess as I was telling you earlier, Mark, you know, last year I started something that had never been done, you know, got to walk instead of, you know, being hidden in the fire truck. And this year, Mark did something that hadn't been done by a mayor ever, at least far as I know. And he gathered up the whole council. Suzanne, I wish you would have been there. I know you were out of town and everything. But he got the whole council together and said, hey, we have a unified council. Maybe we don't all agree, but we agree that we love Sonora. And we went out there and walked in the parade. My family was with me also. And it was really nice. And it really shows the type of mayor you are, and I appreciate that, Mark. So,
thank you.
That's all I've got.
Mayor Pro Tem Segerstrom.
I also helped with organizing the parade, and that it was a huge education. And if they need me next year for floats, I am ready. And then we walked, and I also appreciate that, Mark. It was quite lovely to actually be out and leading the parade and waving and being cheery. And although we did stop quite a bit for the Pledge of Allegiance, but other than that, that was you know, the clampers were quite busy. So Anyway, on that note, I really enjoyed the parade and I enjoyed being part of it. And then I didn't cut a tree, but I did participate in green waste. I made use of 6 different coupons. I gave some to my neighbors, and my brother and I loaded up 2 dump trucks and went out to the green waste repository out on Kamaj, whatever they call it. And so I got all my exercise in on Saturday. And I really appreciated the $1 a truckload. And after loading and unloading a truckload, I appreciated it more. So, but thank you. Thank you for putting that together.
Actually remembered one thing. I'll let you have the last word, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
But I just on the topic of the visit to Tuolumne County, they did a great job of promoting Small Business Saturday, of which I myself participated in. And I'm not going to name stores or anything because I don't want to give away what presents I got my family for Christmas. But I could say that for the first time in my life, I got all my Christmas shopping done before December. And I did it all through local businesses, actually going to the stores downtown here in Sonora. And I think when we think about Sonora, we don't think, you don't think of it as a shopping destination, but there's a heck of a lot of really good stuff to be found, going door to door, seeing what's for sale. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the businesses downtown for having great sales and being very helpful and helping me find presents for my loved ones. So I think in the future that would be a great way, a great thing for the city to invest in to help promote in the future.
And it was mobbed.
Yeah, there was tons of people. It was a great sight.
Okay, well,
Everybody else is doing it.
I don't know, at least for some of the men up here, it's hard to feel that you're not just shaming us. But no, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
I'm the worst of them all.
So
I wanted to make a change.
anyway, so for those who are interested, I would like to explain just my having asked the council to join me. Suzanne had prior commitments because it wasn't until I last minute that I even knew that I was expected to lead the parade. And I really wanted to have the council with me. I appreciate working with this council. We are in a very special position for leading the city and putting the city on a good path forward. And I wanted to illustrate to our community how we are working together. And we will disagree, but we will disagree politely and with what we believe our starting logic is. And I am convinced that everyone on this council is doing what they believe is best for the city. And with that, one can hardly go wrong. So I also would like to, and maybe I need some help with this, Ms. Dunn, but encourage the public to participate in the Christmas window decoration contest. And that's the chamber behind that. That's on me. Well, yeah, no, but participation. Okay, if I'm saying something wrong, you would know and be able to correct me. Well, yes, the favorite tree out in Courthouse Park.
There's also Voter's Choice in downtown.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
There's a QR code in the windows that are.
And the public is encouraged to participate, and the more participation we get, the huge prizes will doubtless encourage more stores to make greater efforts. It is all.
Yeah, the winners will be announced at our holiday community.
Great. Anyway, we have a great display and we can, but so.
You got 5
Anyway, so there are doubtless other things that I'm forgetting. I sometimes forget things, but thank you very much. And with that, I will adjourn our meeting.